Stop protecting your heart. So, hey everyone, I know this sounds crazy, right? But if you really think about it, isn't this where we all went wrong? We cut ourselves off from truly feeling what our heart needs to feel. We have to expose it and let it out there. We must let it feel what it needs to. Now, personally, I think this is one of the most counterintuitive things we do as humans. We feel like we need to protect ourselves, so we hide it away from the world. But that's what keeps us from feeling what we need to feel. I honestly think this is one of the worst things that we can do to ourselves. Of course, we want to establish boundaries and avoid having people trample all over us, but the minute we start putting our heart behind a wall, we cut ourselves off. We no longer allow ourselves to feel what we should, and we actually keep others out when they are trying to open their hearts to us. And of course, it's natural that we do this, and I'll share my story. For me, it started at a very early age. The first time I had my heart broken, I was 4 years old. And this happened because my dad moved to another state and my parents started moving me back and forth. So I would spend different school years and holidays with different parents and be on a plane 4 times a year. This was emotionally damaging for me because I was extremely attached to my dad, and all of a sudden he was not consistently in my life anymore. And of course, every time I did see him, it was unbelievably magical for me, but soon the heartbreak would return as I was put back on a plane to go back to my mom's house. And this pattern of broken-hearted trauma repeated for my entire childhood. Every time I had to leave my dad, it just reopened that initial wound. Now, of course, as a child, I didn't close my heart off, at least not all the way. I had my first love when I was a teenager, but when that ended, it was as if I was reliving that experience of losing my father again. And it's clear now, but not so much at the time, that the idea of abandonment was deeply entrenched within me. So, from relationship to relationship, my heart became more closed, less trusting, and more fearful. None of which are good qualities to have within a relationship. But to be quite honest, my heart just wasn't in it anymore. Of course, this always ended badly, and again, I was dealing with a broken heart. So clearly, something in there was still working, but it was also not completely open. So I think my heart was desperately seeking that love I felt that was taken away from me as a child, but I wasn't seeing how closing myself off was contributing to the demise of my relationships. Eventually, I completely cut myself off from wanting to be in a committed relationship. However, that wasn't being true to myself. The truth was that I was not being honest with my true feelings. I did want to be in a mutually loving relationship, but instead I wanted to love, but was afraid to, and I wanted to be loved, but was afraid to let someone in. So it was always a recipe for disaster. And now all of that has changed, and my heart is wide open, and I know it can be broken again, but that is a risk that is worth taking. And I'm grateful that I'm willing to put myself out there again. However, I also know what I want in a relationship and am therefore not willing to settle for less. So, who has a similar story to this? Or where you can see your own heart closing from some sort of experience you've had in your life, where you realize that the only way you think you can protect yourself is to deny your heart what it needs and wants to feel. How many of you are afraid you're just going to get hurt again? It's a valid fear. However, what's it doing for you? If you have this fear, it's time to face it and put your heart back out there. Heal what you need to heal and dare to love again. Grow from your experiences. Let the wisdom of your past show you what your heart truly needs. And remember, it starts with you. You must love yourself enough to see that you are worth being loved. You owe yourself the chance to love and be loved. This is the most powerful act of self-love you can have. So I say be brave and dare to love again. All right, everyone. As always, I love you. And until next time, peace.